It's a very good question. Um, in fact, we are not doing sponsorship anymore. We are doing partnership. And the main word for us is going from sponsorship to partnership. So what does it mean? First of all, it means that when you are doing sponsoring, usually you give money to have image. When you are doing partnership, it's completely different. You give money on one side to be able to co-create an event with your partner, and on the other side we try to invest within the partner company. This is exactly what you have done, for example, with DRL or Formula E. You know Formula E, the new electric Formula One, and DRL is the drone racing league, which whom we have signed the Allianz World Championship for the drone races. So it's exactly what we aim to do. So why are we continuing to invest on this partnership? For one very simple reason: we are a global group. You know that. We are one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. We are still the most profitable insurance company in the world. And we have German roots, which means that our values, the values we have in our image, are mainly based on German values, which is solidity, integrity, expertise, which is great for an insurance company because we need to have the trust of our clients and of the market. But at the same time, we need more because we face now a new generation of clients. And with these clients, we want to show that we are, in addition, innovative and emotional. And to give this emotion and innovation as values, additional values for the brand, we need to invest in partnership. And in this case, we have decided to focus mainly on sport. So on one side, it's the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, and on the other side, it's what we call digital sports. So again, Formula E, drone races, Robocar, digital chess, Formula One, Formula One, Formula One, so Formula One e-game with Mercedes. So it's this orientation we have given to our strategy to give this innovative and emotional additional values to the brand. Again, it's a very good question. So part of our strategy is effectively to invest in naming, not for the teams, but for the stadiums. We have, of course, the great partnership with the Bayern Munich because the headquarters is in Bayern Munich, but globally we aim to develop the number of stadiums with the Allianz name in it. Why? Because we want to show to the market that the future will be with Allianz inside. It's exactly like that. So the football teams or the rugby teams or even other sports are playing in Allianz Stadium. So Allianz is inside. And this is why we try to find some naming rights like that with some stadiums. So what are the main questions we ask us when we have to decide on one opportunity? It's quite simple. The first one is the name of the stadium. Is it possible to change the name of the stadium with a name embedding Allianz? When you have a stadium like the Camp Nou in Barcelona, or some big stadiums like that, or the Parc des Princes in Paris, which are known by their initial name, it's quite difficult to add Allianz to that. When you are in the Juventus Stadium, which is the Juventus Stadium, it's not so difficult to put Allianz instead of Juventus because everybody knows that the Juve is playing there, but the stadium becomes naturally the Allianz Stadium. So this is why this is the first question and the first answer we try to have. The second one is the quality of the team who is playing in the stadium and the values we share with this team. It's really important for us to partner with stadiums and to give the naming of the stadium when the teams which are playing in the stadium share the same value than us. We couldn't imagine to share to name a stadium where the team has a reputation to be violent or when the fans are not acting in a proper way when they support the team. So the second point is we want to share the values. And in these values, of course, we have solidity. So it's better if the team has a long history. We are talking about Bayern Munich, we are talking about La Juve, we are talking about the team playing, the two teams playing in the stadium we have in Brazil, in São Paulo. It's the same in Australia, it's the same in London with the Saracens. So it could be rugby, it could be football, but it has to be a long story. So solidity, integrity, I talked already about that. Performance, so of course the teams which play in the stadium have to be performant, so they should win something, so it's quite important. And after that, innovation again and emotion, so they have to put this emotional part at the center of the objective. And innovation, we try to find stadiums which are innovative. And I think the best example is the stadium in Nice, in France, the Allianz Riviera, which is 100% based on renewable energy. It's an autonomous stadium with using the sun, with solar panels. It's a stadium which is completely equipped with the last generation of Wi-Fi system and so on. So again, based on these values, we have to share these values. And last but not least, of course, the price of the naming right. And we are quite lucky now because we have 8 stadiums. We are well known as a namer for the stadiums. I think we have not made so many mistakes in the past with the Allianz Arena, the Allianz Riviera, the Allianz Stadium in La Juve, the Allianz Stadium in São Paulo, the Allianz Park in São Paulo, the Allianz Stadium in Sydney, in London. So I think we have a good reputation on the market, so we have many opportunities. And when you have a lot of demand and when you are very selective in the decision, you can negotiate the naming rights at the right level, and it's exactly what we do. But at the opposite, when we engage on the naming right, we engage ourselves on a long-term perspective, which is always good for a stadium and for the team who is playing in the stadium, because it guarantees for them the budget for 8, 10, 15 years sometimes. It depends on the stadium. I told you, innovation and emotion. Of course, solidity, integrity and performance, but in addition, innovation and emotion. That's why we have decided to go from Formula One to digital sports. That's why we have decided to improve and increase the investment and the partnership we have with IPC. And that's why also when we sign a partnership, we want really to co-create with our partner the events. We want to work on the value proposition for the fans. For example, in Formula E, the name of the fan zone is the Allianz Village, and within the Allianz Village, we can showcase all the innovations on which we are working on. Because of our responsibility, you know that an insurer is an enabler. We are here to accompany the people who dare to do things. You never wake up in the morning and saying, today I will buy an insurance product, the sun is shining, fantastic, I will buy an insurance product. No, you say, I want to buy a car, I want to use, I don't know, I want to take a Uber, I want to use a sharing economy solution, I want to rent a flat, I want to do, I want to take a car on demand, I want to think about prevention. And after that, you think about insurance. So we are an enabler. We are not a product seller. We are an enabler, and it means that we need to increase the awareness of the brand for sure, but to improve the image. And if you want to address the needs, the current needs and the future needs of the digital clients and the digital market, you are obliged to add to your traditional financial values these values of emotion and innovation. So that's why we invest on sport, because we think that sport is probably one of the last ecosystem where you can find these values. The IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, of course, is a fantastic showcase for us to show what is innovation and what is emotion. When I don't know if you had the capacity to attend to a Paralympic Games, but it's just a fantastic emotional moment. Now the awareness of the Paralympic Games is incredible. They have billions of viewers on television, on internet, And you have a lot of innovation inside, because when you have a disability, you use a wheelchair, you use blades, you use a prosthesis, and in each of these devices, each of these support, you have and you can find a lot of innovation, and sometimes incredible innovation. Ooh. You have 1 hour? So I think that first of all, Chinese is investing a lot on sport, which is really interesting, which means that the sport can be a fantastic entry point on this market. Secondly, at the same time, I think that China is, before China invested perhaps a bit later than the other in all the new ecosystems and the new topics. In fact, because of this delay, China is now in advance. Which means that when we talk about emotion again and innovation, China on the sport perspective is really amazing. It's a fantastic potential market. We are discussing currently with to launch a Formula drone race championship in China. The capacity we have to discuss with the people and the interest of all the stakeholders on the market is just amazing. It's incredible, because Chinese people really want to do things. And on sport, when you want to do things, and when you have this culture of performance, which is also a huge value in China. In China, sometimes it goes even a bit too far. I have to be honest. So, but at the end of the day, you want to win. And whatever the sport is, you want to win. So performance is key. Solidity. When we talk about China, is 5 million of solidity. When you talk about emotion, all the sports gives this emotion, and the Paralympic sports are really important here as well. When you talk about innovation, we are in the center of innovation. When you talk about artificial intelligence, drones, autonomous vehicles and so on, you are far in advance compared to many other countries. So I think that it's a no-brainer. If you want to invest in sport and if you want to increase your footprint in China, you have to use the sport as an entry point, because it's less expensive probably than other. It gives you immediately the right image, and I think it's easier using sport or because of sport to meet the right person at the right place and to talk about passion at the same time that you talk about business. So sport in China is amazing. It will increase like hell. It's already the case. It will go on increasing like hell on football, on basketball. NBA is there now. The football, you have amazing teams. So it will take time because it needs maturity. But in the next year, I'm sure you will have a rugby team competing in the World Cup. You have volleyball. You will have all the sport, the team sport, and you are already highly performant in swimming, highly performant in athletics. So it's a great country, great sport country, great potential, fantastic. Not for the moment, but we are working a lot on that. I gave you a small piece of what we are doing. Again, we want to stay focused on our values, which means that it will probably be a digital sport. It's already the case. We had last year the Formula E race in Hong Kong. I think that next year we'll have more than one race in China. We are the insurer partner of the Formula E. We are more than that. We are shareholder in Formula E. So we are stakeholder and shareholder in the Formula E family or ecosystem. You will have we will have the Olympic Games. So the Paralympic Games. So there are many options in front of us we are working on, but it should be on the emotion part or on the innovation part, because becoming today the partner of a football team, it's a bit complicated. We can talk about stadium naming, but which stadium? You have, I don't know how many stadiums you have. All of them are enormous with 10,000 of people, so we have to be very smart. Perhaps we'll have some proposition coming from Chinese stadium to have an Allianz stadium. I don't know how you say stadium in China, but an Allianz Park. Or, I don't know what's the name, by the way, of stadium in China.
I'm sorry, which stadium?
What's the name of stadium? What's the translation of stadium?
Changguan.
It could be an Allianz Changhua. For example, why not? So we have some ideas like that, and the first one was Formula E. The second one is the drones, because we really think that you have a great opportunity to create in China a Chinese drone championship. I know that you have a lot of races in China. Now we need to put some efficiency and some, I will say, broadcast competencies to be sure that it will become one of the main sports in the country. I think the main change was going from sponsoring to partnership. I think that the companies globally, I think we are one of the most advanced, because we have really decided to do it, and we really apply a strategy with a real formal approach of this proposition, of this proposal to go from sponsorship to partnership. But I think that globally it's a mega trend. I think that the companies are tied to give money to a sport, to a federation, and just to ask for awareness and work a bit on the image. The cost is too expensive compared to the feedback you have on the media. Why? Because first of all, the digital media become more and more important, and in this case you have to create content instead of creating just the brand awareness. The second point is that you have so many sports broadcasted everywhere that it's quite difficult to focus on one, so you have to be a bit more smart and try to understand how you can create your image by providing content, working together with the sport, your sport partner, to co-create things. And I think that this is really a mega trend, and this mega trend will probably accelerate in the next year. It will be more and more complicated for the big events or the big sport federation or the big sport international committees to find partners just to give money without anything else, to have the brand, you know, on the billboard, and it will be more and more important for these people to propose a proposition embedded the partner, embedded the sponsor as a partner, to co-create the global value proposition. And the rule of the game now is content in communication. It's not anymore paying to have a brand on the screen or on a computer, because it doesn't work. It works, but less than it was working in the past. So it's not a push process. We are in a pull process. The people like you and like a lot of people in China want to have the freedom to select what they want to see, to catch what they want to see, and to see it when they want, where they want. So it's a bit different. When you are a sponsor, I don't know, of a football team, it's interesting, but you have to be sure that the people will come on the social media, and not just on TV, come on the social media and find some content which is interesting for them. Because if not, they will not mind if it's one brand or another on the jersey of the team. It's not important for them. What is important is to see that the partner provide them with some content on the life of some players, provide them some content on the training of the player, provide them some content on the statistics of the team or the player, which is completely different. So it's really from sponsorship to partnership, from push to pull.